And just because you show up with a Rolex on, that tells me nothing about your character. Tells me nothing about you. That does not get me wet.
To turn on a woman, for the guys who don't know, what are the, because guys think what, you need to have abs, you got to be 6 foot, you got to have money. That's what turns on a woman. I don't have any of those. And I did pretty good on my own doing that straight from a woman's mouth. What turns on a woman for the guys out there?
The biggest thing is your presence of intentionality. And what I mean by that is when a woman feels that a man is 100% there, it is the biggest turn on that you can ever have with a woman. So when you show up to a date, or even when you're in a relationship and you show up being intentional with asking questions that lead you to answers that will tell you a little bit more about what she values, or you're sharing stories about what you value, sharing stories that are intentional. Just like you are with a career, showing intentionality in your career, not over-sexualizing, not treating her like she is just an object of your desire, truly wanting to get to know her, because attractive women feel this all the time. Are you really with me because you're genuinely interested in me, because you genuinely see yourself with me, or are you just with me because you want to sleep with me? So intentionality in texting, as far as men are very information driven. So I'm going to text her for this date. I'm going to set it up. And then there's this like space in between. Now I know Corey Wayne might disagree with me. No offense to the 3% man, but when a woman connects with you, let's say on an online dating app, or when she's just starting to get to know you, she starts to establish a story in her mind. And the questions that she's asking herself are, can I trust this guy? Is this guy who he says he is? And every time you show up on my phone, every time a text message has come through and I hear from you, or I hear, how was your day, beautiful? Tell me about it. Women are all about lubrication, but it all happens here in between our ears. Being intentional with your touch. If I'm just meeting you and I went out with someone the other day that I had my hands or somewhere on the table, and he noticed my watch and he touched my watch and like touched me, and he created that like physical, that energy. Right. And I thought, oh, that was very nice. There's like that confidence.
I've used that move. Yeah.
Yes. But, having confidence, being very intentional about what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want, being communicative, talking about sex, talking about your fantasies, and not getting defensive, using vibrators in the bedroom and not making it about you. The quickest way to have an orgasm for a woman is through vibration. It can happen in 30 seconds for us. Yeah. So if you're able to, talk about certain things, about what makes her comfortable, or going and buying something like that together, going to the store and being like, hey babe, what do you think about this toy? Like, this looks fun. And just having that like playful intentionality about you, and just wanting to make her happy and show her that she's safe. Like, hey, no matter what we talk about, no matter what the situation is, like, you are safe with me. That is lubrication for a woman.
I totally agree with the vibrator. I got my Love Witch one. It's helping you out, guys. It's saving you work. Because I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but we obviously have a baby, right? 7 months old. And the pregnancy was very hard on her because she was never supposed to have one medically. Like, this was a miracle baby. Amazing. So she was in pain or just uncomfortable the entire time. So we didn't have sex for 8 months. And I've never, since I was a kid, have gone that long not having sex. So I took care of myself when I had to, right? And that's what I needed to do. And 46-year-old Rudy understands that. My younger Rudy, when he first went through that, I couldn't have gone through that. I would have went insane, been that horrible guy. What about me? All that stuff. Anyway, but when we finally started doing it after the baby and she healed, I go, I'm gonna get you a toy because it's been so long. I probably have horrible, like I'm not in the condition. I'm probably gonna be out of breath. So let's bring that in. So we've been using it and it's working. It saves me trouble, but again, you have to spice things up. And and again, that's just me and her because we have that wonderful dialogue. But are you finding men don't want to even entertain that idea because they'll like, no, I'm going to satisfy you. Like, why are guys so like apprehensive with bringing a toy in the bedroom?
Well, there's a lot of ego involved in the bedroom. But there's also a message that women hear as well. Think about it. It's not necessarily safe for us to talk about our other experiences because what do we think is going to happen? Oh, I'm going to scare him away. I don't want to tell him about I don't want to tell him what I like because in the back of his mind, is he thinking about me with another guy? Like where I learned this potentially from? Or so people become very closed off when it comes to sex. They become very hyper aware of what comes out of their mouth because they're in fear of how the other person is going to react. You have to let all of that go. You have to be 100% comfortable. And a woman, she has to be able to come to you and say exactly what's on her mind. And if she feels that safety, if she feels like, oh my God, he's not gonna leave me after I tell him this truth. Once again, these are all ways to turn women on, and it's not what guys need to get turned on. It is the complete opposite of what guys need to get turned on. So it is more complicated for us because we have a greater risk from a pregnancy standpoint. We have a greater risk of STDs. We have greater risks of just involvement emotionally. We are more guarded and we have to feel things differently versus men. I could walk around in my robe and it would be completely fine. You guys would be good. But for us, if the house is a mess, if there are things that need to get done, if the bank account is being drained, if you're in scarcity, women have all these things going on. So getting her present through touch, through massage, through talking, through cleaning the house together, and then sitting down and Netflixing and chilling, that is really a way to kind of start the process of getting her in the mood to be in that sexual mindset. Right.
That's gold. That really is gold. And again, I hope the guys who are listening understand that at no point did Sarah say you need to go to the gym, get muscles, you have to make money and drive Bugatti. She didn't say anything about that. It's all about you. And I think that's the problem with a lot of young guys out there that are lost because they think that's the way to turn on a woman visually. And to an extent, there's attraction. Attraction definitely works. But guys, you need to work on yourself. Everything Sarah just said, that's like kind of like maybe step 2. Let's go to step 1. Work on yourself. Have the self-confidence, be comfortable in your own skin, how you talk to people, how you communicate, be self-aware of how, people's emotions and things you say, and knowing your space. And I think that's where guys get lost. You can have all the muscles and still be a dick and not know how to communicate with people. And you 100%. May get laid, but it's not going to be something everlasting. It's not going to be something that you want to marry.
I've been out with so many men who are incredibly successful, who have 7 cars, because you get to this age and you can start to, there's some men out there that have done very well for themselves. Yeah. And I have not gone out with them again, or the relationship has, deteriorated very quickly because they're either extreme workaholics. They're not able to be present. Their phone is constantly going off in the background. They're distracted. They're not able to sit in stillness. They're hyperverbalized. They're constantly talking about themselves and their accomplishments. Those are all big turnoffs because, a woman who women now are making their own money. So they don't necessarily need you to make as much as you might think that we want you to make. And just because you show up with a Rolex on, that tells me nothing about your character. Tells me nothing about you. That does not get me wet. Like, okay, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. But what it is it's the fact that they've taken the time to understand themselves. They're intentional with their values. They're intentional with their speech. They're able to verbalize, like, this is what I want in a woman. Oh my God, if a guy says that to me on a date and he is very clear with like what he's looking for, it is like, oh God, then it's like Corey Wayne, you know, genuine burning desire. I'm like, okay, hold back, Sarah. Like, don't give in too quick, you know, because then you, as a woman, that elicits a response, like an animalistic response. And oh my gosh, that man can keep me safe. That man knows he has boundaries. He knows exactly what he wants. And the money is just an indication of the life that you have built. It takes stamina. It takes hard work. It's all the characteristics outside of the money that we're attracted to. Because in order to be successful as a man, right, you have to have a certain amount of focus on your life. You have to have boundaries and schedules, and you have to live. Jocko and Will and all these successful guys, Brad Lee, I can think of, you know, Matthew McConaughey, whatever, Brad Pitt, The Rock, who's doing very well with his Arnold Schwarzenegger. They have all had extreme discipline and focus in their life. And that is what makes a woman attracted, wet, feel safe. That if you can create that feeling for a woman, she's all yours.
Right. There's a variable that I think a lot of these red pill coaches are missing, because they think they see the Marion guy, they see all these other coaches and how they speak like this. And lady, you don't know what you're talking about, very authoritative and all this other bullshit. It's a character. But some of the most powerful men I know, like I have a couple of mentors here in San Antonio, and they're millionaires, right? They own many restaurants, many businesses, and I meet them every quarter. And the variable that I see with them, they're great leaders, but they have layers, and they have empathy. And they're humble. And I think any man of power who's worked so hard to achieve what he's had, there's a certain level of humbleness and empathy that they have. And when I see one of these guys with this level of money and wealth not have that, that tells me it was never self-made. It was more or less given. And that's what they have told me as well. But I think having empathy helps people relate to you, and being humble also as well. And I think that's a variable they're all missing. And I know for me, when I started dating, like I told you, I made them laugh. I knew what I wanted, and the maturity and the realization of what I had done and what I am now and the world in front of me, that made them feel safe. That made them feel wonderful. They loved that I was so positive. They loved that I was not too demanding, but I was very comfortable and just positive. And that really helped me in my space.
And you know why that is?
Why
you made women feel safe with that? And when a man is able to talk about what he's learned and the process that he has gone through, it signals to a woman that you have high competency. And go way back to caveman days when women were looking to you, right, for protection, and the lion is coming. They want to know what your process is for protecting me from danger. I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to give you my babies. I'm going to give you sex because I want you to stay with me and protect me. But when you share everything that you've learned and how you've gotten from point A to point B, and you're humble about it, that tells me that if we encounter danger, if he's good with money, he's not going to bankrupt us. If he has friends, he knows how to create a social circle. If the world ends, he's going to have that. If he has done, you know what I'm saying? Like if he's gone through personal growth, that means that if I experience depression, if he experiences depression, if something happens from an emotional standpoint, he's going to be able to get us through that. I can look to him for that leadership. That is what and it's like very subtle, and men don't understand this, that like women are examining these things. Unfortunately, that's just how we are. That's how we're built. We're examining these things, and we're looking for areas that you can fill in the gaps where we can't. And that's where the hypergamy sets in, because we want to look up to you from a leadership perspective. We really do. But it's not hard. What you've done with your life is exactly what brought you your love witch. Is just your ability to self-reflect and share what you've learned and grow from that. Very sexy. Very sexy, Rudy.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much.